These 3 interior designers have been given a photograph of an empty basement rec room. They have free reign to design it in any way they please.
My name is Courtney McLeod, and my design style is colorful, joyful, and elegant.
My name is Becky Carter, and my work is highly conceptual, it is subversive, and it's a whole mood.
My name is Sasha Bikoff, and my style is luxurious, whimsical, and bold.
No clients, no restrictions, just blank space.
My first impression of the room was hideous soffits, not much light.
The question is what to do with kind of a generic blank square of a space.
The only thing you want to put in a basement is your skeletons, so let's make a space where you're going to party with them.
My idea is really to put something spectacular on the ceiling in order to draw your eye up. So I'm going to achieve that design trick by using one of my favorite luxury materials, gold leaf. When you put something like this on the ceiling, all of the light really bounces and really helps to brighten up the space overall. It's also a real focal point. You can't help but just look up at it and stare at it and feel like, wow.
I'm going to create an illusion where our ceiling doesn't even exist. So I'm gonna get theatrical with it, and I'm gonna do a tented ceiling. This is my fabric for the tented ceiling. It's by Decor. It's not too heavy, and when you gather the fabric, you're gonna get all different tones of that pink with the light.
We have these 2 small windows right at the very top of the ceiling. We're not getting much of a view from them. I doubt we're gonna get much light out of these, and frankly, they depress me a little bit. My recreation of choice is karaoke. And I just think if there was any reason to go down into a basement, it's to hide the world away from my karaoke performance. So with my ceiling, what I'd like to do is create an entirely lit ceiling. The grid is partly inspired by Studio 54. If you've ever seen their dance floor, it lights up and the individual squares all flash and blink. But what I've done on the edges of the ceiling is I've drawn this beautiful curve that kind of brings the corners down and softens the boxiness of this space.
Another trick that I'm using is the addition of a bit of millwork in the form of flat stock used on the ceiling to create a stepped molding effect. Now, this adds a bit of dimension to an otherwise pretty plain space, and it also creates the opportunity for a frame around my gold leaf.
What I'd like to do is panel all of the walls with an upholstered crushed velvet. So they're essentially going to be padded walls that are then painted over the top, sort of inspired by the tattooed villa of Jean Cocteau, where we have these figures sort of dancing and playing around the room. And my thinking is that if we're singing karaoke and there's just 1 or 2 of us, I don't ever want to feel lonely.
My design is starting with the spectacular wallpaper. It's an amazing print by a company called Decor, and it's actually a hand-painted wallpaper on silk. Now, one of the reasons I want to use this is to trick the eye and help us camouflage the soffits that are on either side of the space.
I'm going to totally clad the walls in mirror. I want to pick a mirror that's going to work really well with my tented ceiling fabric. So I went with this antique pink mirror. All these materials cancel out the need for this light coming through the window.
In my karaoke room, I've designed this kind of catwalk along the sides of the walls here as a place to hop up and perform for your friends, and you can kind of walk up and down it confidently while you sing your favorite Gwen Stefani song.
These floors are pretty basic, so what I'm gonna do here, because we're a little bit underground, I wanna continue with this cozy cocoon feeling, and I wanna fully carpet our floors here. This rug is actually part of my rug collection with rug art, and the design is called Wavy. And what's great about this rug is that it's 100% silk, so it's so soft.
In the middle of our rec room, we are putting a beautiful, big conversation pit. Now, I don't think of this so much as a conversation pit as I do think of it as like a sing-along pit. It just gives a lot of play to the space in terms of different levels for people to feel like they can really perform and have fun with the space while they're doing karaoke.
So I've decided that the floors in this space are not going to be a focal point. And so I'm going to keep it pretty neutral. I think the ones in the original rendering are a little bit yellow for my taste. And so I'm gonna bring in more of a natural white oak to create a neutral ground for our spectacular area rug. Now this is the star, and it is beautiful black and cream wool and silk carpet.
So the carpet that I chose for this space is a lovely dusty rose silk carpet, and I designed the pattern for this so that it has a very tiny little diamond geometry in it. And the scale and the sizing of those diamonds are very intentional because I wanted it to look like there's a disco ball sparkling on the ground. And it's going to be great at the resonance sound, at helping to make it so that this space sounds amazing.
My vision is this underground nightclub. When I was younger and single, they used to call me the queen of the underground. So it's only natural that I would create a nightclub in this rec room. So I kind of wanted to create a seating arrangement that took over the entire room. I decided to use one of my favorite sofa designs, the Arcazoom Safari sofa, which is a 1970s Italian design.
So the long rectangular shape of this space, it immediately made me think of this is perfect for a built-in style sofa that would be like a U shape and would take advantage of the shape of the room. I never do white sofas, but I thought this space could be the perfect spot to try it. And I really want to bring in, instead of color, it's really a focus on texture.
The bar that we're designing is this beautiful sort of rounded form that is clad in a mother of pearl tile. I wanted it to feel distinctly feminine. It kind of has this really fun rainbow quality.
The coffee table is this iridescent glass coffee table. It kind of disappears within the space, but it has this rainbow tonality kind of spectrum to it.
So our wonderful sofa is the perfect backdrop for some really bold pillows. And so I think it's the perfect spot to really reinforce the wonderful red burgundy background of our wallpaper. The coffee table that I selected is a spectacular piece from Design Studio Apparatus. You have this wood, you have brass, and you have this wonderful kind of frosted material that really gives a light and airy feel.
On the back bar, I've decided to go ahead with a stained glass element. And the stained glass is Art Nouveau inspired, and it's these really soft palettes. So I'm still kind of keeping it in this really dreamy pink, yellow, green palette that you'll see throughout the entire space.
So what would a sexy lounge be without a custom bar? And so we decided to bring in a bit of a curved shape that mimics the U shape of our sofa. I also thought it would be a great opportunity to bring in a bit of warm walnut into the space. And you're also seeing a bit of brass in this piece to make it really, really glamorous. The standing table in front of the bar is just a great conversation area. So I love the idea of having this kind of floating piece in the space to create another area that's perfect for folks to stand around.
For the pillows, I decided to go with this incredibly fun Pavoni leather. It is a crinkled chrome leather. It almost feels like a disco ball. It also is pretty much waterproof. You cannot mess this up. If you are having a great time and you're spilling your drink all over the place, these will be fine.
The chandelier is very space age, disco feel, this futuristic feel to it, but at the same time, it's a round pendant, so it could almost feel like a disco ball. But I love these rods that are in the center of this pendant that are all these different neon colors.
First, I'm going to obviously light the ceiling. That's gonna give us our overall lighting. It's gonna give us a lot of control, and it will also maybe behave like a little twinkling Studio 54 vibe. Then, as we look down the room, I am putting in sconces around the room. These are Roomler sconces, and what I love about these is that they are really soft. They're very diffuse. They feel almost like a beach ball that's been deflated or something along those lines.
For my sexy lounge, I'm selecting an amazing fixture by a studio called Lindsay Adelman, and it's one of my favorite lighting design studios. They make just truly functional art, and this one is from their Cherry Bomb collection, and I love the blown glass with a bit of gold leaf applied.
The sconces are also bringing in this kind of space age element. They're pill-shaped, they're resin, and I decided to use them in all different colors to connect with the pendant light and the coffee table.
On the bar, I have some Robert Kuo table lamps that I've put on either sides of the bar, and I love these because they are made with a silver leaf over the top, which is going to tie into the other chrome and steel elements in the room, but add just a little bit of luxury.
We're going to have wonderful Arteriors lamps with custom lampshades. I'm imagining them being a black silk unlined so that it will add drama, but you'll still get a little bit of light through the lampshade.
The final element of the space are these palm fronds, and they really add this element of glamour, but it also adds an element of nature.
So in my mind, I'm a fabulous piano player. In reality, not so much, but one can dream. And so I thought, okay, sexy lounge, we have to have a fabulous piano. And so we picked this color that is a bit of like a Tiffany blue with a hint of mint. I really wanted the piano to stand out and to be, again, a piece of functional art.
So let's talk about the disco ball. I decided not to go with a traditional disco ball. There are no mirrors on this one. And instead, what you're seeing is a massive hammered chrome disco ball.
I really did a good job of transforming a boring kind of afterthought of a space and turning it into a true jewel box.
I want to do karaoke in here. I want to climb all over this space. I want to make embarrassing memories in this room with all of my friends.
I think this space is whimsical, it's glamorous, it's cozy, and I love designing spaces that transport you.
Oh,
wow.
I feel like we were all in the same kind of mindset. Like
Yeah.
loungy.
We like all went to the club.
fun. I love that you put a piano in here.
Yeah, that's a really
So are you
good
thinking
idea.
like this is the client has a piano?
I think it's like a salon. So they have really cool friends who are musicians who come down and like play fabulous music.
Yeah.
It's like a deco piano bar.
I know, that's what I was thinking. It's
Yeah.
like 1920s classy vibes.
Yeah.
Loving this ceiling treatment. That
Yeah.
is so cool.
Cute.
And so I was like, maybe the ceiling would like light up and blink like a Studio 54
Yeah.
dance
Love it,
floor,
love
you know, like it could be
Yeah.
programmed.
Now, I am obsessed with the way you have the swoop of the sort of tented ceiling.
I've always wanted to do a room with a tented ceiling. You know, this was supposed to be like a dark, kind of sexy 70s nightclub. Becky, who would be partying in your room?
My room would be obviously karaoke enthusiast. I designed this in mind. I was like, this is for like a super celeb who loves karaoke, but they can't go do it in public. Courtney, how about you?
I love it. You know, I feel like it would definitely be someone that's super cool, a little musical, artistic. I love Tracee Ellis Ross. I think she's so fabulous. And so I could see her here with like her super cool friends and they're just like having a great time. How about you, Sasha?
Obviously, it'd be Mariah Carey. Yeah. I've always
I can
dreamt
see
of the
it.
day where she would call me.
You're putting it into the
Ever
universe.
since MTV Cribs with her Mario Bawada penthouse.
I mean, in the closet.
So-
I mean.
Mariah, if you're out there, I'm waiting for you.